Before we even start dissecting the psychology of attraction, you need to hit that subscribe button right now. If you are serious about mastering social dynamics and understanding the female mind at a level 99% of men never reach, you need to be locked in with this channel. We don't do surface-level advice here. We do deep analysis. Click subscribe, turn on the notifications, and commit to learning. Now let's get straight to the core of the matter. We are talking about nicknames. But if you think this is about finding cute words to put in a text message, you are completely missing the point. This is about auditory dominance. This is about framing. When you give a woman a nickname, you are essentially renaming her reality. You are taking away the name her parents gave her, the name her boss calls her, the name the rest of the world uses, and you are replacing it with a label that exists exclusively within the dynamic you control. That is powerful stuff. It creates an us versus them bubble. It triggers distinct emotional circuits in the female brain, ranging from the desire for protection to the thrill of being challenged. Today, we are breaking down 9 specific nicknames, but more importantly, we are breaking down the specific tone, timing, and subtext required to make them work. Let's begin with the first category, which is what I call the destabilizer. The specific word here is trouble. This is a classic for a reason, but most guys use it wrong. They say it with a smile, looking eager to please. That is weak. When you call a woman trouble, it needs to be a statement of fact, delivered with a flat, almost suspicious tone. You are looking at her, analyzing her behavior, and you are verbally tagging her as a chaotic element in your life. Women absolutely love this. Why? Because deep down, every woman wants to believe she has a wild side. Even the shyest, most introverted librarian wants to believe she is capable of disrupting a man's world. When you look her in the eyes and say, "You are absolutely trouble," you are validating that hidden part of her personality. You are telling her that you see through the innocent act. Furthermore, it sets up a challenge. It implies that she is a handful, but by staying there and talking to her, you are implying that you are the man capable of handling that trouble. It is a high-status compliment wrapped in a playful insult. It creates instant tension because it is not safe. It's risky. It suggests that she might be bad news, and that is infinitely more attractive than telling her she is nice. Moving on to the second nickname, we have the possessive anchor. This includes terms like my love, my girl, or simply mine. In the current dating market, especially in the West, everything is casual. Everything is a situationship. Men are terrified of labels, and women are anxious about where they stand. When you use possessive language, you cut through that anxiety like a knife. However, you have to be careful. You cannot use this on a first date, or you look like a stalker. This is for when you have established a vibe, maybe date 3 or 4. The power here lies in the word my. It signals ownership, not ownership in a toxic, controlling way, but in a protective, masculine container. When a woman hears my girl, her biological imperative for safety is triggered. It releases oxytocin, it makes her feel chosen, it differentiates you from the roster of guys in her DMs who are sending WID texts. You are claiming her, you are stepping up, but the delivery has to be grounded. It can't be high-pitched or pleading. It has to be low, resonant, and final. You are stating a reality, not asking a question. This kind of nickname solidifies the bond and makes her feel like she is part of a team, specifically your team. Now let's pivot to something more controversial, but highly effective if done right. The diminutive. Words like little one, shorty, kiddo, or small fry. Listen carefully, because if you get the tone wrong on this, you will sound condescending and she will hate you. The psychology here is based on sexual dimorphism, the biological reality that men are generally larger and stronger than women. By emphasizing her smallness, you are subconsciously emphasizing your size and strength. It makes her feel feminine, delicate, and protected. Even if she is a CEO running a massive company, in the context of your relationship, she wants to feel small in your arms. Calling her little one triggers that primal response. It works best when you are physically helping her, reaching something on a high shelf, guiding her through a crowded bar, or opening a heavy door. It reinforces the polarity. You are the mountain, she is the breeze. However, you must have a smirk when you say kiddo. It has to be playful. If you say it like her dad, you kill the attraction. It's about acknowledging the physical difference between you two in a way that makes her feel safe, yet slightly teased. Before we get to the next heavy hitter, take a second to check if you've subscribed. We are dropping high-level psychology here that you are not going to find on standard dating channels. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, you need to be part of this community. Subscribe now. All right, back to the list. Nickname number 4 is the intellectual validator. This includes names like nerd, dork, smartass, or geek. Here is the reality. A beautiful woman is told she is beautiful 10 times a day. It becomes white noise. It has no value to her anymore. But how often is she told she is smart? How often is she teased for her obscure interests? When you call her a nerd because she gets excited about a specific movie or book, you are doing something powerful. You are seeing the human being behind the beauty. You are validating her personality. But by using a word like dork, you are keeping it from becoming too heavy. You are teasing her for her passion, which is a form of flirting. Smartass is particularly good because it implies she has challenged you intellectually. It implies she is quick-witted. Men of high value want a woman who can keep up. By calling her a smartass, you are acknowledging that she is keeping up with you, but you are still holding the frame by labeling it. It turns the conversation into a mental sparring match, which is incredibly stimulating for high-quality women who are bored of men just agreeing with everything they say. Next up, number 5, is the brat. This is specific to a certain type of dynamic, and it is lethal. This is for the woman who is a bit high-maintenance, a bit demanding, or acts like a diva. Most men crumble under this behavior. They get angry, or they capitulate and become doormats. You do neither. You reframe her behavior as cute but ridiculous. When she is complaining about something trivial or demanding you do something, you look at her with a half smile and say, "You are such a brat." This flips the script. You are not intimidated by her demands. You are amused by them. It frames her as a child acting out, and you as the adult who is tolerating it because she is cute. This hits the dominance submission trigger hard. Many women act like brats specifically to test a man's strength. They want to see if you will break. When you call her out on it with this nickname, you pass the test. You show her that her tantrums don't rattle you. You are essentially patting her on the head and telling her to calm down, which, paradoxically, makes her respect you more. Number 6 is what I call the traditionalist. Words like sweetheart, darling, or honey. You might think these are outdated, dead words from the 1950s. That is exactly why they work today. We are living in a hookup culture defined by low-effort slang like bae, babe, or just yo. Using a classic heavyweight term like sweetheart signals a level of maturity and class that separates you from the boys. It carries a texture of warmth. It implies you are a gentleman, a man of substance. But the key is to mix this traditional language with modern masculine edge. If you are too soft with it, you land in the friend zone. But if you have a strong, rugged vibe, and you look her in the eyes and say, "Come here, sweetheart," the contrast is magnetic. It suggests that you are dangerous to the world, but safe for her. It creates a feeling of nostalgia for a type of romance she has probably only seen in movies. It comforts the female soul while your physical presence excites her biology. Number 7 is the villain or the monster. This operates on pure irony. This works best on women who are incredibly sweet, kind, and innocent, the good girls. When she does something even slightly selfish, like stealing a fry off your plate or teasing you about your shirt, you gasp and call her a monster. You treat her like she is the most evil person on earth. This is funny because it is obviously untrue. It allows her to step out of the good girl box that society puts her in. It relieves the pressure of perfection. It's a role-play game where for a moment she gets to be the bad guy. It creates an inside joke dynamic where you two are laughing at the absurdity of the label. It bonds you together through humor. It also shows that you don't put her on a pedestal. You are willing to roast her, to make fun of her, which shows confidence. Pedestals are for statues, not for women you want to attract. Number 8 is the exclusive. This isn't a specific word I can give you because you have to find it. This is a nickname based on a shared experience. Maybe she tripped over a curb on the first date and you call her Grace. Maybe she loves spicy food and you call her Dragon. The word itself doesn't matter. The history does. This is the most powerful tool for long-term retention. Every time you use that nickname, you are forcing her brain to recall the memory attached to it. You are reinforcing the narrative of your relationship. It's a code that only the two of you can crack. If another guy tries to call her that, it won't make sense. It makes you irreplaceable. It creates a secret language. If you want to trigger deep, long-lasting attraction, you need to identify a funny or vulnerable moment you shared, isolate it, turn it into a nickname, and use it to anchor her back to that moment whenever you sense her drifting away. Finally, number 9. This is the nuclear option. The most powerful nickname is her full first name, used as a command. This is the anti-nickname. Most of the time, when we talk to people, we use filler words, or we say their names with an upward inflection, like a question. Sarah? It sounds unsure. To trigger instant attraction, you need to be able to drop the cute names, drop the jokes, look her dead in the eye, and say her name with a downward inflection. Sarah. Pause. This snaps her out of autopilot. It signals a shift in energy. It tells her that the playtime is over, and you are about to say something serious, or you are about to make a move. It commands full attention. It is grounding. It reminds her of who she is, and more importantly, who you are. The man who isn't afraid to command her attention. Use this sparingly. Use it when the sexual tension is at its peak or when you need to check her behavior. It is a reset button that reestablishes your authority in the interaction. We have just broken down the auditory roadmap to attraction. We covered the destabilizing nature of trouble, the protective warmth of my love, the dominant framing of little one, and the intellectual validation of nerd. We talked about handling high-maintenance behavior with brat, using the classic sweetheart to show class, the irony of monster, the bonding power of inside jokes, and the commanding authority of her real name. You need to have all these tools in your arsenal. You need to be able to switch between them based on the situation, her mood, and the dynamic you are building. Social dynamics is not a static game. It is fluid. The man who can calibrate his language to the moment is the man who wins. This script gives you the theory, but you have to go out there and practice the delivery. Tone is 80% of the communication. If you say these words with fear, they fail. If you say them with conviction, they work. Don't forget that. And before you close this out, make sure you have subscribed to the channel. We are building a fraternity of men who understand the code. Do not be the guy on the outside looking in. Hit subscribe, check the other videos for more breakdowns, and go apply this.